What's up, guys? Eric here, driver lineup world's okay steering wheel holder, checking with y'all for another video real quick here. I'm waiting to leave. I have my loads, my trailer's here, my load's here. I'm at the terminal, but I can't leave too early because I'll be too early. So I'm kind of just twiddling my thumbs, trying to wait for the right time to jet on out. But anyway, we're kind of in this, well, it's funny, hee, not ha ha. It's not funny to be going through the struggles that the freight market is going through, especially for a lot of you guys working off of the spot market. It's not funny at all. But it's there's a little chuckle when I see people who were absolutely ripping on those of us who haul contract freight back when the spot market was through the roof, to the moon. And so you had rates out there, you know, they were just eating at the trough of $3, $4, $5 per mile rates. And we were sitting down here just begging to get anywhere close to $2 per mile, right? Well, how the tides have turned. Contract freight is now where it's at. Like, that is where it's at right now. I'll see if I can put it in the comments, but if I can find it. But on Freight Waves, there's a chart they have that points out. Now there's a new one I think coming this week, maybe tomorrow. It will be Monday. I think there's a new one coming. But the most recent one to date showed that contract rates for refrigerated freight are currently hovering at 81 cents above the spot. 81 cents. That's substantial. So for those who don't know, contract freight is sometimes great for the customer and sometimes great for the carrier. Sometimes great for both. It ends up being great for both in the long game. In the short game, sometimes the carriers are going to be peeved, and in the short game, sometimes the customer is going to be peeved. So basically what contract freight does is it protects the carrier in times like right now, when the spot market is just sitting down on the floor. The carrier has basically, you know, some protection from its rates going too low. It protects the customer in times like during COVID, when, you know, spot market was through the roof and customers were having to pay through the teeth to get those working the spot market to come pick their freight up off their docks. But we couldn't, carriers on contract freight could not jack up the prices to match that, because the customer was protected from those rates increasing too quickly or like that. So it's kind of a back and forth, you know. It has its goods and its bads depending on which side of the equation you're on. Right now, it's great for carriers. It's great for drivers. You know, I've said it countless times here over the last month or two that it's pretty relatively easy to get over $2 per mile right now, refrigerated, with a carrier like Prime. I think it's probably the same for Hirschbach and a few others that have great contract freight. But certainly with Prime, getting well over $2 per mile is not difficult right now. And I've seen conversations happen. In fact, someone told me the other day, they're like, man, I would just crawl over glass to get anywhere close to $2 per mile right now. This dude told me he's taking break-even loads just to keep moving, and I'm like, that doesn't make any sense to me, man. I wouldn't move. If it was a break-even, I wouldn't move, unless it was trying to get somewhere where you could get something that was above break-even. I could see it then, but that's the world that a lot of the freight market's living in right now. But yeah, I mean, this is exactly why that in videos I did 2-3 years ago, this is exactly why I chose to come to Prime. Well, one of the many reasons, but this was a big reason. A big reason. I did a lot of research before I chose Prime, and seeing that Rob Lowe and gang had these decades-old relationships with the protein plants, you know, the big protein brands and the big frozen brands, and all decades of relationships. There's pictures here in the terminal in the hallway of them with like the executives of General Mills and some of those companies from 20 years ago, playing golf and stuff together, you know. So these are long-standing relationships that this contract freight is developed on top of, and it's not going anywhere. We're a very highly rated carrier for a lot of these customers. We get the loads there on time. The trailers are clean. The trailers are pretty well maintained. You'll see a lot of bitching out there about our trailers, but man, I don't know how many trailers we have, but it's got to be in like the 20,000 range, or maybe more. If you really think about it, that's just a guess. But think about how many empty trailers we have sitting at all these customers. And we already have nearly 10,000 tractors, but we have to have way more trailers. So if you think about the sheer volume of trailers we have, the fact that most of them are in good working order is pretty remarkable. Yeah, you're going to see some that leave a little bit to be desired. Occasionally you'll get one of those. And usually you'll see someone go out on social media and bitch about it. But that's not reflective of the fleet of trailers we have. So the customers know we're generally going to get the loads there on time. We're going to get them there safely. People bitch about Prime not being safe. We're always in ditches and all this stuff. I don't know what you're talking about, man. Our safety is excellent. They give out numbers every Friday, and it's excellent. There's a reason we're bypassing most of the scales. And that's because we've got a great safety rating and a great inspection rating. We're doing really well as a fleet on logs, so the customers can rely on us when they need their freight moved. We're very reliable. And because of that relationship just continues to bear fruit, and those contracts continue to be strong. And right now, man, I'm just telling you, contract freight is where it's at, and you have to really bury your head into contract freight when it's times like these, when the freight market is just in shambles and we're still relatively profitable as a fleet. It's not as glorious as those high times when the spot market's up, but if you're here's what's happening right now. A lot of companies were started and created, a lot of trucking companies, when the spot market was through the roof, and that's why they're collapsing now, because they based their whole concept, their whole plan, their whole view, their whole outlook on where rates were when the spot market was just through the roof. And now that it's completely collapsed, they can't survive. So you can't make a decision or plan things out based on those times. It has to be based on these times that we're in right now. When it's shit, what is going to be the safe bet? May not be the most lucrative. You may miss out a little bit on the upside when things are great, but when they're shit, this is a pretty safe, contract freight's a pretty safe place to be. Again, that's according to Freightways. I believe is 81 cents. Look it up. There's a chart. The discrepancy between spot rates and contract rates is 81 cents. That is substantial. So, if you're a mega hater, you hate Prime, you hate Hirschbach, you hate all these contract companies, have at it. It's always someone down in the comments, but we are just the consistent, it's like the race with the tortoise and the hare. Tortoise just keeps going at same speed, and the hare blasts past and then goes over and takes a nap, and the tortoise just keeps going and keeps going. The hare blasts past. At the end of the day, the tortoise gets to the finish line, right? That's kind of what contract freight feels like to me. So anyway, we'd love to know your thoughts. Leave a comment down below. Be safe, make good decisions, always drive to thrive. Talk to you all soon.